it certainly could be a loss and a disruption.
California will prohibit state workers from traveling to 4 more states. It comes after they were added to the California travel ban. For the last 7 months, the Golden State has restricted spending state dollars in those 8 states for what the Attorney General calls discriminatory laws.
CBS 13's Drew Balea explains what this means to not only state workers, but state institutions, Drew, and sports teams.
You know, the state attorney general says that there are consequences for discrimination and that limiting or even restricting state-funded travel is a consequence. But now we have these colleges and universities who have a big unknown on how they will be impacted by this travel ban.
And it does pose some real challenges for how faculty do their jobs.
Kevin Weir is a professor at Sacramento State. He says travel restrictions could put students and educators in a tight spot.
If that conference is now in Dallas, the university will no longer be able to reimburse me for travel to that.
Conferences to share research and studies could be missed. The impact may also be felt by athletic departments.
Scholar athletes may have some difficulties going to certain games. Our coaches may have trouble recruiting, if they can't travel to certain states.
Weir says despite the challenges, he agrees with the spirit of the ban, which has now grown. For the last 7 months, state-funded travel to Tennessee, Mississippi, North Carolina, and Kansas has been restricted. And beginning in January, state travel to Texas, Alabama, South Dakota, and Kentucky will also be banned. State Attorney General Xavier Becerra says that these states have laws that discriminate against people based on their gender identity or sexual orientation.
These laws are just simply so far out of step with California's law and public policy.
Joe Michael with Equality California says restricting state dollars from flowing into these states is only part of the purpose.
Standing in solidarity with the people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer in other states.
But there has already been pushback from elected leaders in states listed as part of the ban, some calling it a cheap political stunt and hypocritical. A Texas state representative telling a Houston paper, while California prides itself on being open-minded, it is only open-minded if you kneel at the altar of a certain political agenda. Now, when it comes to those athletic departments, you know, there's some big football programs here in the state that like to do a lot of traveling to the southeast. Well, it's not exactly clear how they might be impacted. I talked to the University System of California today, and they told me that they're going to take things up on a case-by-case basis and that it's still too early just to tell exactly how they'll be impacted. And there are some exemptions to this travel ban as well, in the sense that if there were contracts signed before this was implemented, travel can still be done, as well as if there's some emergency law enforcement needs where they need to travel to some of these states, that can also be done.
Very interesting, some far-reaching implications here. All right, Drew Balea, thanks so much for that live report.